So that's a yes. You think that he should resign if any of these are proven correct?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio absolutely unloaded on New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, and for good reason. Also, essentially calling on Cuomo to resign. So I'm going to get into it here. There has been a lot around Andrew Cuomo over the last several weeks. I'll get more into it after the first clip. Here's Bill de Blasio on CNN with Jake Tapper discussing the most recent allegations against Andrew Cuomo.
You said this morning, quote, "What these two women went through is absolutely unacceptable," unquote. We should note Governor Cuomo has denied the first accuser's allegations. He has not denied the second accusers. To be clear, you believe both women.
Yes, Jake, and we have to believe women who come forward and fully investigate. And, you know, the governor issued a total non-apology earlier and in effect treated sexual harassment as some kind of laughing matter. It's not a laughing matter. It's not a joke. It's very, very serious stuff. And we need a full investigation. If it proves that these allegations are true, how can someone lead a state if they've done these kind of things?
One of Governor Cuomo's accusers, Charlotte Bennett, said in a statement today that Governor Cuomo, quote, has refused to acknowledge or take responsibility for his predatory behavior, unquote. I suppose that gets into what you just said, where he was basically saying in his statement, hey, I joke around a lot. I'm sorry if it was misinterpreted. I have to say, as I'm not a governor or a mayor, but I have a staff, I've never made any jokes, anything like that, you know, strip poker or anything like that. I mean, it's I don't even understand how anybody could say something like that.
Yeah, Jake, when I read the account of what Charlotte Bennett went through, I cringed. I had a feeling of like the pain, the terror she must have been going through. Here's someone who could determine whether she has a job or not, whether she has a career or not, literally suggesting in front of her all sorts of perverse sexual possibilities, and she's alone in a room with him. I mean, think about how grotesque that is. And you're right, I don't know anyone who would do that. This is not acceptable. It wasn't acceptable ever. It's especially not acceptable in 2021 in the United States of America. So it cannot be laughed off. It cannot be minimized. We need to follow the facts on this case and think about the ramification of the nursing home scandal. Thousands of lives lost. We still don't know why. We still don't know how much of the truth was covered up. We still don't know how much of it might have been because of the influence of campaign contributions from the nursing home industry, a very powerful industry. There is so much that needs to be uncovered here.
All right. I will touch on the nursing home stuff in a second here, but first, just to discuss the sexual harassment claims, it's incredible. So apparently, he asked one of his aides, this is a former aide making this accusation, asked them if they want to play strip poker and also kissed that same aide on the mouth. Just randomly kissed her on the mouth. Who does this? In what world is this acceptable behavior? So right now there is an investigation moving forward. Headline here from NBC, New York AG cleared to move forward with probe into sexual harassment allegations against Cuomo. And also, on that note, Brian Schwartz here, Andrew Cuomo's financiers are pausing and reevaluating their fundraising efforts for him in the wake of sexual harassment allegations. Donors say Cuomo has to own up to what happened if he wants their support. Others say fundraising is on indefinite pause. So at this point, Cuomo's political career is essentially collapsing. And obviously there'll be a full investigation into those allegations. But then you also have, as was mentioned there briefly at the end by de Blasio, the whole nursing home scandal. So this was actually, doing research for this video, I uncovered this article from 9 months ago. This is back in May 2020. David Sirota wrote this for The Guardian. Cuomo gave immunity to nursing home executives after big campaign donations. Critics say data proves New York's liability shield is linked to higher nursing home death rates during the pandemic. And it turns out David Sirota was exactly right. 9 months later, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo under investigation for nursing home deaths. So It's incredible what this man has been able to get away with so far, and the way he's also treated people. That's another part of the story that I just don't have time to get into, but the way he's treated other lawmakers in the state. I mean, this man clearly needs to be investigated. And New York's Democratic Attorney General Letitia James released a report last month accusing his administration of undercounting COVID-19 deaths in nursing homes by up to 50%. So these are two right now ongoing investigations: the nursing homes and the harassment allegations. So more on that in a bit. But first, let me play this next clip of de Blasio going even further in his criticisms of Cuomo.
If an independent investigation, the Attorney General Letitia James is now going to make sure that happens into the claims about the sexual harassment, the alleged sexual harassment. If that investigation confirms any of the women's claims, or if there is some other investigation, the FBI or whatever, into the nursing home data scandal, if any of that is confirmed, do you think Governor Cuomo needs to resign?
I don't see how anyone can function as a governor and have the trust of the people and the respect of the people if they purposefully covered up the deaths of thousands of our seniors, our elders, family members, beloved family members who are gone. If you cover that up, or if you did things for reasons that had to do with politics or contributions, and if you've sexually harassed young women in your employment, these are disqualifying realities. How could anyone look the people in the face after that? If these allegations, if these charges are proven, there's just no way he can govern.
So that's a yes. You think that he should resign if any of these are proven correct?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I have to note, just for viewers who are not familiar with New York politics, you have long had a contentious relationship with the governor. You guys have disagreed publicly on policy and other issues for years and years. What do you say to a viewer who might see what you're saying and say, oh, this is just a personal vendetta?
Look, I've known the governor a long time. I used to work closely with the governor. I became increasingly disillusioned, as have so many people who worked with him closely, by what I saw. And the abusive behavior, the threatening behavior goes way back. It's gotten worse in many ways over the years, but it's not new. What you saw with Assemblyman Ron Kim, when the governor threatened his career because the Assemblyman had the audacity to challenge the governor on the nursing home scandal. These are unacceptable practices. I said years ago this had to end. It's poisoning the reality of the state. And now, unfortunately, more and more of this is coming clear to us just how pervasive it is. But it can't go on like this. It just can't. So I would just say the facts are increasingly clear. It's not about anybody's personal viewpoint. It's about the facts. And, Jake, these facts are overwhelming.
Now, I want to remind you, about a year ago, or over the summer, last summer, there were discussions about if Joe Biden can't make it, if his health fails him and he can't become the nominee, then somehow they should find a way to replace him with Andrew Cuomo. That was a real discussion that was ongoing. Now, thank God that never came to that. But it shows you here just how quickly he's fallen off. And all it really took were people to speak out. To speak out, whether it's lawmakers speaking about how they've been treated by him, whether it's harassment or otherwise, or how it's about the nursing home scandal. I mean, it's amazing to me that it took this long when it comes to the harassment stuff, I understand that's a different process. But when it comes to nursing homes, or how he's just generally treated people around him, or people who work for him, I mean, this is the kind of stuff you would expect to come out a lot sooner. But finally, whatever, it's coming out now, and it's absolutely going to hurt him, and I'm going to show you how it's hurting him in a second here. But first, so the relationship between de Blasio and Cuomo, yes, is already, there's already bad blood there, but there's good reason for de Blasio to not like Andrew Cuomo. 17,000 deaths. One of the reasons. Even at the height of his stardom during the pandemic, Cuomo prioritized personal grudges over effective governance. When New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, a Cuomo nemesis, told city residents to prepare for a strict lockdown on March 17th, Cuomo publicly vetoed him, only to announce the same decision 5 days later. The delay resulted in an additional 17,500 deaths in the New York City area, one study estimated. So, because Andrew Cuomo had this personal vendetta against Bill de Blasio, He delayed the very thing de Blasio called for by 5 days, leading to 17,500 more deaths. And this, by the way, is not even being discussed right now because it's being lost in everything else. But it goes to show you there are, many stories like this around Andrew Cuomo that at this point are really all adding up to the fact that he has been a horrible person for quite a while, and people are finally speaking up about it. And to show you the kind of impact this is having on him, as the Hill reports here, 71% in a new poll say Cuomo should be impeached if investigation finds he hid nursing home deaths. There you go. So Andrew Cuomo, I think we can now safely say he's not running for president in 4 years. This is a man who finally is getting what he deserves.